So, hi guys, I'm the guy from the e-ink subreddit. Of course, I will not use an AI to dub me, so you will hear my Italian accent throughout the whole video. And now I will show you my daily driver for the e-ink screen. This is a 15-inch laptop, wireless mouse, wireless keyboard. This is like little standoff for the laptop, and this is the actual screen, which I will show you in a bit. Okay guys, so this is the display itself. Here there are the cables. It's just an HDMI cable, which is this one, and a USB-A to USB-C cable for power. Speaking about the display, this is the motherboard, and as you can see, it looks like the motherboard is like divided in two pieces. There is this one, the big one here, which is like the original one, and then there is this small board here. Then it looks like has been attached to the original one, just to give some I/O ports. As you can see, these as the ports. There is the HDMI here, USB-C for power here, this button here, which is for refreshing the screen, a switch, and another things for power. This switch is actually for deciding where the power will come from, because it could either come from the USB-C port or this other connector. I've never used this other connector here. I've always used the USB-C, so this switch is like a power switch for the display. Now I will flip it over and show it to you. Okay guys, so this is the display itself. Of course is switch off, and as you can see, the frame I have created is made of the 3D printed part, which is the white one, which is used for covering the motherboard. And on the other side there are some acrylic panels which are 2 mm thick, where I've glued the actual display. And here on the side there is a little hole where the display can connect through the motherboard, so it's connected like behind. By the way, here is how the display is connected to a laptop. You simply need USB-A for power, and it goes all around and it powers on here on the USB-C port, and of course HDMI for video. So one of the things I've noticed with this display, which is sort of bug, is that sometimes when the laptop goes on standby mode, also the display of course goes in standby mode, but it could happen that the image completely shifts, like it's cut on a part. If that happens, I don't know if I can recreate it. It just occasionally, it happens occasionally. You have to power the screen off with the switch. You see, now it's actually off, there is no more light, and then you power it back on with the switch. So the screen will reset and it will work once again. I don't know if I can recreate it. It was just to tell you how to do it in case it happens to you. Okay, and here is how I daily drive everything. I have my wireless keyboard here, mouse there, and the display I actually place it on top of the laptop keyboard, and here how this looks like in Windows. So this is my desktop in the ink screen. This is the mouse, don't know if you can see it, and I mean the movement is a little bit sluggish, but I will show you all of the features of this display. So if you go on Windows, I set it up like this. So the first display is my laptop, second one is my ink display. And if you look at the informations about the display, you can see the resolution is this one, so it's more than 2K, should be like 2K and a half, and it is very nice for reading. And if we go to the advanced settings, which should be here, I think, yes, it is recognized with this model, and the refresh rate is 21 hertz, but honestly I think it's more like 10 hertz. I mean, I don't think it's 21, it feels way more sluggish than that. I think it's basically 10 fps. Now I will show you some software tweaks I had to do in order to make it work properly, and then I will show you some tests. Okay, so the first tweak I did, it was for achieving a better resolution, let's say, on the display, and it is via Intel Graphics Command Center. So you go on the application if you have an Intel chip, otherwise I think you have to go with AMD, but I don't know, never had an AMD graphic card. So you go here on display. On display, you select the second one, which is this one. You go on color, and on color you can tweak some setting. I would recommend you to go here and put the saturation to 100%. Why? Because I think that this enhances a lot the blacks and also the colors in the middle range, like yellow and stuff like that. It's much better. So if you get this, I recommend you to put the saturation to 100%. Then the second tweak, it's about the blue light filter, which if you go for an e-ink monitor, I think you have always on, since you care about your eyes. And the problem with the Windows one is that it's on for every display you connect with, so you cannot like tweak some settings for different displays. And this is a problem with the ink one. I don't know why, but if you have the blue light screen on the ink display, the ghosting effect is much starker. I don't know why. Probably because it sees the blue light filter as a color. Probably. I don't know, but it actually messed up a little bit the ghosting effect. So download this app, which is called Flux, and here you can actually tweak the screen light filter and disable for single monitor. So go here and disable for your generic plug and play monitor, which in this case is this one. So you have the blue light filter only on the main display and not here. So I use this app. Okay, so now let's go with a typing test. I have my Word open here. So I will simply take it and drag it here on the e-ink display. Let's put like this. Okay, perfect. And this is the keyboard I will use for typing. So let's see if I can show it to you. I will simply press some keys, and as you can see, the response is, it's pretty good, to be honest. There is a little bit of lag if you go super fast. It lags a little bit, but to me it's not that big of a problem. You can see the input lag. Maybe I will make it a little bit bigger, and like this. Okay, so maybe now you should see it better. If I type, there is little bit of input lag, but not too much, honestly. I actually use it for writing and it's really nice. The only problem you may encounter is when you have to cancel things. Why? Because since there is a little bit of input lag, if you have to cancel a lot of stuff, sorry, to delete a lot of stuff, maybe you're not able to stop at the point you would like to. Like, I go here on backspace, let's say that I want to cancel all of the T's and I want to leave only the K. Let's say if I'm able to do it, I start pressing and I mean, it's not super smooth. I think you have to get acquainted to it. I don't know your use case. If you are a person that needs to write thousands of code of lines and you are used to high-speed refresh monitors, maybe this is not the ideal for you because there is a little bit of input lag. It's noticeable, it's not a huge problem, but it's definitely noticeable. If you don't write super fast, it's not an issue. I mean, for me, it's not an issue, but it might be for you. So just for showing to you. And here it is for the typing test. So let's talk now about the reading experience. And first of all, as you can see, it is night and I had to switch the lamp on, and the reflection of the lamp and also the posters are clearly visible on the screen. Overall, it's not the worst of the problems, even though it could be annoying. In these cases, you have to like adjust the lamp so that the reflections are less evident on the screen. I mean, it's up to you. If you point the light directly towards the screen, you will have a lot of reflection. If you just move the light away from it, you see no more reflection. So it's up to you and it's up to your setup. Then speaking about text clarity, it is very good, as you can see. I mean, it's super sharp and you can literally read perfectly. I mean, if the main reason for buying this display for you is reading stuff like reading PDF, perfect. Even though there is a thing to discuss. If the background is black, like in this case, I'm on Reddit now, you have literally no ghosting. So you can scroll as much as you want. So let's scroll, let's try to create as much ghosting as possible. But as you can see, I will zoom in, almost unnoticeable. However, if you switch to another page with a white background, the ghosting will be much more evident. So let's start scrolling, and as you can see, boom, a lot of ghosting. You have like the image of the pie all over the page, and I understand it can be annoying. Text is still easy to read, but there is definitely some ghosting. However, there is the refresh button here. You simply press it and the ghosting goes away. So if you have the possibility to put the background as black, do it, because in this case there is almost no ghosting. In contrast with white background, the ghosting is quite noticeable. And speaking more broadly about web browsing, I mean, it's fine, you can scroll, not a problem, but the biggest problem, it's not scrolling, it's moving the mouse precisely. Now, let's see if I manage to, okay, to show it to you. This is the mouse and I'm moving it and you can literally see like the choppiness. You could count the frame that my mouse is moving. It's quite difficult because there is also delay. So if I try to go on very specific links, like this one, it's not very easy to click them precisely. I'm trying to move the mouse over these 4 links and I'm having a little bit of difficulties, even though I'm moving the mouse just slightly. I'm doing super slight movements. So It's not the end of the world, but definitely I will not recommend this screen if you have to do very precise mouse movements. If you have to read, it's perfect. If you have to write, it's perfect. But for high speed stuff and mouse movements, definitely not recommended. So this is the last test, which is playback of video. There is the advert at the beginning, but it was just to show you. I mean, it looks like seeing a mute film from 1920 or something like that. I mean, it's you can literally count frames, so definitely not recommended for video playback. Look super choppy. But I mean, if you buy this kind of displays, not for smoothness, it's for a better reading experience and also for taking care of your eyes. So it's not how you should use it. So do not bother about video playback and high fast response stuff. So scrolling, video playback, not recommended. While for typing, if you don't have to go super fast, and reading with a black background is perfect.